Speaking up is hard to do. I understood the true meaning of this phrase exactly 1 month ago when my wife and I became new parents. And it was an amazing moment. It was exhilarating and elating, but it was also scary and terrifying. And it got particularly terrifying when we got home from the hospital. And we were unsure whether our little baby boy was getting enough nutrients from breastfeeding. And we wanted to call our pediatrician, but we also didn't want to make a bad first impression or come across as a crazy neurotic parent. So we worried and we waited. When we got to the doctor's office the next day, she immediately gave him formula because he was pretty dehydrated. Now, our son is fine now, and our doctor has reassured us we can always contact her. But in that moment, I should have spoken up, but I didn't. But sometimes we speak up when we shouldn't. And I learned that over 10 years ago when I let my twin brother down. My twin brother is a documentary filmmaker. And for one of his first films, he got an offer from a distribution company. And he was excited, and he was inclined to accept the offer. But as a negotiations researcher, I insisted he make a counteroffer. And I helped him craft the perfect one. And it was perfect. It was perfectly insulting. The company was so offended, they literally withdrew the offer, and my brother was left with nothing. And I've asked people all over the world about this dilemma of speaking up, when they can assert themselves, when they can push their interests, when they can express an opinion, when they can make an ambitious ask. And the range of stories are varied and diverse, but they also make up a universal tapestry. Can I correct my boss when they make a mistake? Can I confront my coworker who keeps stepping on my toes? Can I challenge my friends in sensitive joke? Can I tell the person I love the most my deepest insecurities? And through these experiences, I've come to recognize that each of us have something called a range of acceptable behavior. Now, sometimes we're too strong. We push ourselves too much. That's what happened with my brother. Even making an offer was outside his range of acceptable behavior. But sometimes we're too weak. That's what happened with my wife and I. And this range of acceptable behaviors, when we stay within our range, we're rewarded, and we step outside that range, we get punished. In a variety of ways. We get dismissed or demeaned or even ostracized. Or we lose that raise or that promotion or that deal. Now, the first thing we need to know is, what is my range? But the key thing is, our range isn't fixed. It's actually pretty dynamic. It expands and it narrows based on the context. And there's one thing that determines that range more than anything else, and that's your power. Your power determines your range. Well, what is power? Power comes in lots of forms. In negotiations, it comes in the form of alternatives. So my brother had no alternatives, he lacked power. The company had lots of alternatives, they had power. Or sometimes it's being new to a country like an immigrant, or new to an organization, or new to an experience, like my wife and I as new parents. Sometimes it's at work, where someone's the boss and someone's the subordinate. Sometimes it's in relationships, where one person's more invested than the other person. And the key thing is that when we have lots of power, our range is very wide. We have a lot of leeway in how to behave. But when we lack power, our range narrows. We have very little leeway. And the problem is that when our range narrows, that produces something called the low power double bind. And the low power double bind happens when, if we don't